1.
Obi Trice, real name, no gimmicks.
If you ever heard this tagline, there's a good chance you used to bump to Obi Trice's songs at some point. But that must be ages ago. Obi Trice didn't exactly stop making music, but he kind of disappeared from the hip-hop radar. If you are wondering what happened, then this video is the right place to get started. Obi Trice claimed that he started rapping only 5 years before he got signed to Shady Records. But his passion for rap and hip-hop goes all the way back to his childhood. At the age of 11, his mother gifted him with a karaoke machine, which he used to freestyle over instruments from NWA. By the time he was 14, Obi-Wan, as he was previously called, was already attending local rap battles. At the same time, Proof from D12 also organized a hip-hop shop, a place for young rappers to battle rap.
Any rapper saying those kind of rhymes in this day and age, in this period of time, trying to battle Eminem.
When Proof and Obi met for the first time, he asked for his real name, and when he realized it was Obi Trice, Proof introduced the rapper using that rather than Obi-Wan. And this is where the tagline comes from: real name, no gimmicks. Meeting Proof at that time was a big deal, but it wasn't until he met Eminem that he knew he had a huge chance at success. After realizing a series of vinyl singles, Bizarre, a member of D12, discovered one of Obi's tracks and instantly fell in love with the song and the rapper. They got in touch and the two immediately became friends. Bizarre couldn't wait to put M on, and both camps quickly scheduled a meeting with Paul Rosenberg, Eminem, and Obi Trice. At the meeting, Bizarre played the single, the well-known Asshole, to M and Rosenberg, but since they didn't look excited or moved by the record, Obi figured nothing positive was going to come out of the meeting.
Yo, it's massive now. Obi Trice is now here. So all weak motherfuckers step to the rear.
But a few weeks later, Obi Trice got the call that was going to change his life. Shady Records wanted to have him on board. Shady Records had D12 on board, but Obi Trice was going to be the first solo act and label. In his first year as a signee in 2001, all he did was drop a freestyle on D12's Devil's Night. However, M and his team spent the next year pushing Obi Trice to every hip-hop market in the world. If Shady Records had any promo out, you could bet it was about Obi Trice. In fact, true stans know that Obi was promoted on the Eminem show and also featured on the 9th song on the album, Drips.
Fucked up off the liquor I drunk. I had a bag of the skunk one in last night's tongue.
But that wasn't all. The same year, he got the opportunity to jump on the 8 Mile soundtrack, even landing a cameo role as a rapper in the movie.
Back the lance. I use my voice to spit the fire refrain. Try and refrain.
Come on, baby, it's redemption time. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I be the nigga in the shelter. I ain't the check.
Obi Trice was now in the public space, and hip-hop heads couldn't wait for his debut album. By the summer of 2003, Obi Trice released Got Some Teeth, a comedic single from his upcoming album, Cheers. By the time the album finally hit our shelves, it was already one of the most anticipated albums of the year. The album had 5 separate appearances from Eminem, who was also the executive producer, and also featured big shots like Dr. Dre, Busta Rhymes, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks, D12, and Timbaland. With this sort of star power, the album was bound to be a success, and it was. In its first month of release, Obi reached the top 5 on the Billboard 200, and the album got certified platinum. Obi Trice had everything needed to be a star. Even when he was on stage with other notable rappers, he managed to keep the light on himself. The sky was the limit, right? Well, not exactly. But here's the thing about dropping an overly successful debut album. It can be very difficult to make anything better than that. And that was the worry everyone had for Obi Trice. To be fair to Obi Trice, his decline wasn't entirely his fault. It all began in 2006 when Proof, Eminem's best friend and member of Shady Records, was shot to death in a nightclub in Detroit. Before this unfortunate murder, Trice's car was also shot at 6 times in late 2005, and one of the bullets hit him in the head, where it still remains to this day. After Proof's death, the label pretty much became a shadow of its old self, and M's drug issues reached an all-time high. But despite the challenges Obi was facing at the time, he managed to release a second album in 2006, titled Second Rounds on Me. Even though the album was gritty and lyrically solid, it just couldn't reach the height of his first album. The album reached number 8 on the Billboard 200, only to drop further a few days later. Unfortunately, at the same time, Obi Trice was dealing with something very serious at Shady Records. He had an intense falling out with Jimmy Iovine, the #1 man at Interscope. And since Interscope and Shady Records pretty much operated hand in hand, Obi was under Iovine's leadership. The rapper tried to squash the fight just so he could remain in the label, but when nothing changed with Jimmy, he left Shady Records in 2008. This seemed like the perfect move for Obi at the time, but it eventually turned out to be the move that ended his career. This was bad for Obi's career, but the media was about to make it even worse for the Detroit rapper. Right after leaving Shady Records, several tabloids began reporting that Obi Trice wasn't on great terms with M and Dr. Dre. This went on to further complicate Obi's dwindling career, and even though these two rappers later jumped on his project, it couldn't do much to save his career. Obi and M remained friends over the years, and he even released 2 diss tracks against Nick Cannon in 2019 to defend Eminem. Between 2009 and 2019, Obi Trice would release a series of projects, including 3 albums and 1 mixtape, but none of these would reach the heights of his first 2 albums. In 2010, he founded his own brand, Black Market Entertainment, through which he released all of his songs. Obi Trice still managed to stay in the news, but they were always for the wrong reasons. In December 2019, the rapper was sent to jail for 90 years after he shot the 18-year-old son of his girlfriend after a crazy argument. 3 years later, in 2022, he was back in court for using a telephone to threaten and harass a person, a crime which posted a bail of $10,000. We can all agree that Obi Trice never quite reached the level he was well capable of, but it's a bit of a shame that he has disappeared into the shadows. However, his name still remains etched in history as the first solo act of Shady Records, and he would be remembered as a legend who enjoyed a short but illustrious hip-hop career. Do you think Obi Trice's downfall was due to his bad decisions, or just factors out of his control? Let us know in the comment section.